Have you ever thought that a sacred text could be more than just words on a page? I mean, what if there was a hidden melody, a whole mathematical symphony woven right into its fabric? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. This incredible idea of a numerical code inside the Quran. So, let's just get straight to the heart of it, right? Could there actually be a deliberate, super intricate numerical code embedded within the Holy Book of Islam? It's a huge question, and the material we're looking at today argues that the answer is a big, resounding yes. Okay, so our investigation starts with a real head-scratcher, an ancient puzzle that has fascinated scholars for literally centuries, the muqattats. If you've ever read the Quran, you've probably seen them. These letters like Alif, Lam, Mim that just pop up at the start of 29 chapters. Their meaning has been debated forever, but our source suggests they're the very first clue in this whole numerical mystery. So, how do you even begin to unlock a puzzle this complex? Well, the theory we're digging into points to a single master key, one specific number that it claims makes the entire pattern just click into place. And that key is the number 19. Now, at first glance, it seems kind of simple, almost random. But according to this theory, 19 is the absolute foundation, the cornerstone of the Quran's hidden mathematical structure. So, why this number? Well, this isn't a number just pulled out of thin air. Its supposed significance is drawn directly from the text itself. In Surah Al-Mudaththir, it says, "Over it are 19." This one verse is presented as the scriptural anchor for this entire idea. And this is where things get really interesting, statistically speaking. If you count up all those mysterious letters, you get 1,473. The source then points to a complex analysis, a Monte Carlo simulation, which came up with a p-value of less than 0.01. So what on earth does that mean? Well, think of it this way. It suggests there's less than a 1% chance that this pattern of letters happened by pure random luck. In the world of statistics, that's a pretty big deal.
Now here's where the theory moves from just abstract numbers to something you can actually do. The source suggests a simple daily practice. Focus your intention and then recite the name of Allah 19 times. It's a way to create a direct link between that so-called mathematical key and a personal act of faith.
But wait, the number 19 is just the beginning. The theory we're exploring suggests there's a whole series of important numbers connecting the massive scale of the universe to the simple rhythms of our everyday lives. First up is the number 7. You know, it's one of those numbers that seems to pop up everywhere, in all kinds of spiritual traditions and in the natural world. But in this context, the source we're looking at draws a really specific and, honestly, pretty surprising parallel. So, on one hand, you have the Quran talking about Tujul Langit, or 7 heavens, this ancient concept from Surah Al-Mulk. And on the other hand, you have modern science, thanks to NASA, telling us that Earth's atmosphere has 7 distinct layers, from the troposphere where we live all the way out to the exosphere. The source presents this as this incredible parallel between an ancient text and a modern scientific discovery. Okay, so from the vastness of the cosmos, the theory brings us right back down to Earth, to a number that shapes the rhythm of every single day for millions of people, the number 5.
And this number, of course, represents one of the core practices of Islam, the 5 daily prayers, or salat. And what's really fascinating is that the source also connects this ancient ritual to modern science, pointing to fMRI studies, the ones that map brain activity, that suggest the physical movements of prayer can actually have a positive effect on blood flow to the brain.
All right, so we've gone from the daily cycle. Now let's zoom out to the annual one, with a number that basically governs how we think about a year, 12. The connection here is just fundamental to how we measure time. The Quran, in Surah At-Tawbah, says that the number of months with Allah is 12, and this scriptural statement lines up perfectly with the lunar cycles that form the basis of the Hijri calendar, giving a structure to the entire year. So we've seen numbers that supposedly connect to the cosmos and our daily lives. Now we're going even deeper, to the very essence of faith itself, by looking at 2 numbers that represent the absolute core of Islamic theology. 1, the beginning, the most fundamental number of them all. And in this context, it represents the single most important idea in Islam.
And that idea is Tawheed, the absolute, indivisible oneness of God. It is the central pillar of Islamic belief, and it's captured so perfectly and powerfully in that famous verse from Surah Al-Ikhlas, say, "He is Allah, the One." And from the profound simplicity of the number 1, we expand out to the richness of the number 99.
This number represents the Asma ul Husna, the 99 beautiful names or attributes of God in Islamic tradition. The source we're looking at points to lexical analysis of the Quran, which actually maps out how often these divine names appear. For example, the name Ar-Rahman, which means the most merciful, shows up 57 times, and that's just one piece of this larger pattern of 99 names.
Okay, so we have all these individual numbers, right? Each one with its own proposed meaning. But how do they all fit together? Well, this brings us right back to our main idea. The source presents them not as just a random list of figures, but as the distinct notes in a grand divine symphony.
So let's do a quick recap of these symphony notes. We've got 19 as the supposed mathematical key. We have 7 reflecting the cosmic layers, 5 grounding us in our daily rhythms, 12 structuring our year, 1 as the absolute core of belief, and 99 representing all the different divine attributes. But here's the key takeaway. The source material argues that these numbers aren't just some secret code for us to crack and then admire from a distance. No, they're presented as active invitations. Invitations to practice, to reflect, and to build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual connection for yourself.
Which really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. If this incredible symphony really does exist, woven into scripture and the cosmos, then the real question isn't just how we join the orchestra, but what instrument are we going to choose to play?